Hey everyone, and welcome to the next part of our planner page. So happy Tuesday, and I think we'll just start with the water. It's always a little bit tricky knowing exactly what colour to do water. We have quite a pretty phthalo green in this set, which is quite watery looking. I think it's sort of slightly turquoisey. There is a turquoise, but it's very much bluer. So let's come in a bit closer and do that first. So 553. So we have water here in front of our castle. You can see it's quite vibrant and it looks quite bluish, so I think it's quite different to the sort of blue, the greens that we've used for all the trees and things like that. So I wouldn't necessarily call this phthalo green. I would call it more, well, I suppose, to me it looks a bit bluey, but I guess it just depends on our mindset really. Some of us see colours in slightly different ways, I think. So just I'm doing this sort of directional colouring for this one rather than little circles because of the direction the river or water moat is flowing in. I'm going to sneeze. There we go. I didn't actually sneeze, I just blew my nose and got rid of that tickle up my nose because I sneeze so loudly that it would scare you all. It's funny, my gran used to have a very loud sneeze, my dad's got a loud sneeze, my sister's got a loud sneeze. I can stifle it and make it a little bit quieter if I have to, you know, sometimes you can't. Well, I would sort of bury my nose in a hanky and blow it like I did just then, but often it's just really loud. And I find it quite amusing. But anyway, I'm sure some people find it very annoying. But, anyway, why not? Now we've got little marks for shine in our water. You can leave them and not colour over them if you wish. I'm actually colouring over them, and I will hopefully remember to go over with a white pen and draw them back in. Now, because this book is actually white, you could just leave them white and it will show up quite well. But quite often in Johanna's books, the pages aren't white, they're sort of cream. And then, you know, having a white pen is better, I think, because, you know, it's proper white rather than just leaving the paper, which is slightly creamy. I know what I mean anyway. So now we have the fish. I always wonder what colour to do them. I usually do them orange. You know, I always think of goldfish. Why'd they be goldfish? I don't know. I'm going to have a think on that. That's most of the water done. Let's just tidy that bit up. There we go. Now, I forgot to do those little bits of grass over there by the tree. I did the grass in number 53, the lime green. So I'm just going to do that. It's such a teeny tiny detail, but it would bug me otherwise. I'm going to do the stones next. I'm just thinking about what colour. I think I'm going to do them this colour. Oops, this is the 83. Now the 83 is the dove grey. Just give it a sharpen. Now the little ones I'm just going to block in, and the larger ones I'm going to try and make a little bit darker on the outside and lighter in the middle. It's so tricky because they're so little. But I'm just going to go around all the little stones doing the same thing. And it's much easier, I find, to just making sure you can see, jot about the picture doing like all the same thing at once rather than sort of working top to bottom or left to right, because then you keep having to remember what colours you've used for certain bits and things like that. I know some people do it that way and they don't then smudge what they've done and that sort of thing, but these pencils don't smudge anyway, so it doesn't seem to matter really. And actually my hand isn't on top of the picture all the time because we've got all this space around it. So Right, I think that's it. Yeah. Now the water, I am now seeing bits I've missed. So I'm just touching that up a little bit. Okay. Now, let's have a think. Where should we go next? I think we need to... fish. I'm going to leave the fish. I'm going to do this edge of the mushroom. I'm going to use a nice warm brown. This one here, sorry, warm grey. This is 85, the warm grey. It's a sort of brownish grey. I rather like it for this sort of thing. So I'm going to put a layer all the way across. And I'm going to try and keep it reasonably even. Don't worry too much. You can see I'm going against the direction that it's actually, you know, the lines are drawn on it. I don't think it matters too much. Now on the stem, we've got these lines. Now I usually colour those green as if there's a vine creeping up, but actually there's no leaves or any indication that that is a vine, so I might not colour it like that this time. I might just colour it as a different colour in the actual toadstool. My telephone's ringing again. I was away for quite some time. I'm just trying to remember. Oh, I was doing this. I'm going to make it a little bit darker at the bottom. Yes, the phone rang. It was my mum. Had a nice natter. Then it was lunchtime. I had lunch and I had to go to the shop. So it's been quite a long break, but that's good. I'm just slotting you in though and finishing this off. Because I'm trying to make this a little bit more even as well. So actually the fact that I'm colouring it darker at the bottom isn't necessarily showing up that well, but it's okay. I can add something else in a minute. Yeah, so I've been away quite a long time, but various jobs, and yeah, I'm slotting you in before doing another job. It's been a bit of a chasing my own tail type of day, in that I accidentally overslept. And it never happens, I never oversleep, but my, just grabbing this is the 890, the Cool Grey 13, it's a bit darker. I'm going to darken the bottom, and then just, so put a darker bit here, and then just tail it off a little bit, so that hopefully this bottom layer just looks a little bit darker. Yeah, my alarm didn't go off. Apparently I have it on my tablet, and I'd accidentally, you know, fumbled, and at some point, I've no idea when, and put it into Do Not Disturb, so the alarm didn't go off. But what that meant was I overslept by an hour. So I feel like I've been catching up all day long. But hey ho, it's okay. Right, now I'm going to do this little stem bit. I think I want to do this a little bit lighter, and we have this colour here, which is the 805, the warm grey 5, and I'm going to colour the whole of this, apart from the bottom, so even these stripy bits, because I will go over those in a minute. Oh, it's very pale, isn't it? But never mind, we'll just keep going with it. And yeah, I had my neighbour message me saying, did I want to go for a coffee today? And it's like, oh, not today. So much going on. I'm going to use the 85 that we were using before, the warm grey, to do a little bit here. I'm thinking there'd be a little bit of shadow under here. Now, because we've got this lighter colour underneath, it's not going to look quite as dark as this bit. I'm going to put a little bit on the edges as well, just to try and make it look a little bit more rounded. And it looks like Johanna's drawn some lines as if there should be some shadow under here, so I'm just going to do that as well. Like that. And over those bits. There we go. Now this bottom bit I want to be really light, so I'm going to use the very lightest grey, which is our 800, and that is called, oh, that's Cool Grey. Yeah, Cool Grey. I'm just going to sort of block it in because it's so pale. I can't really do very much with it. But I just think, you know, if you look at a mushroom, have you ever looked at one that's been plucked out of the ground and pulled rather than cut? The bottom looks like this, and it's usually quite pale, or at least on the mushrooms I see. I think that's fine. You might want to do it a little darker, I don't know, but we do need to do these little stripy bits. I think I'm going to grab this grey, the 890, what was that called? The Cool Grey 13, and I'm just going to try and make them a little bit darker on the edge, lighter in the middle, just to sort of add to the illusion that it's sort of slightly rounded. There we go. Now we might as well do these little plants while we're down here at this point. So I'm going to randomly grab a few colours. So I'm going to start with the 38, that's the sea green, and just do this little one down here with this. I'm trying to think of what colour to do our little caterpillar friend as well. Then we'll use the number 5, which is our green, and I think I'll do this one again. It's really thin, so I'm just going to block it in. There's nothing, I'm not going to do anything special. Just realised that my soft pastels are next door, but anyway, I might do something a little bit different. Use one of the ones I've got in here. I have a little ponder while I colour. Then I'm going to use my number 52, which is the sap green. I'm going to go over here. I'm breaking them up a little bit so that we haven't got a colour that's similar next to another one, if that makes sense. I think it make it a little bit more randomly mixed up, which I think is nice. Yeah, my neighbour said, do you want a cup of tea? I was like, not this afternoon. Too much to do. But unfortunately, she's now not free for a few weeks. But anyway, 50, willow green. I always think these look more like they should be lighter in colour. And I don't know why. I think that. But we'll get together. I said, next week she's busy. She's having new windows fitted on Monday and Tuesday. This would be a bit disruptive. And then, what's this one? 550. Pale green. We'll use that. And then she's going to see her son and then her daughter, because it's Mother's Day coming up in the UK. Well, actually, it would have passed by the time this goes out, thinking about it, because this is the 11th, isn't it, Mother's Day? It's on the 10th, I think. 551. Well, it's the 12th today, isn't it? This is light green. So anyway, but yeah, I'm recording in advance. So yes, she'll be away, and then oh, it was the week after, that's right, because next week she can't do Monday, Tuesday. I can't do Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then she's away the following week. So it's all a bit all over the place, let's say. So Mr. Caterpillar, I am thinking maybe a reddish brown. Should we try, we could go for the Indian red, which is number 27. Is that it there? No, that's 72. I'm trying to find it, sorry. There it is. 27, Indian red. Not going to do his eyes. Just his body. Now I'm trying to do each circle separately so that I can make it a bit darker on the outside, but it's very small. Tricky to do that. I'm going to do his eyes and his antenna in black. So the number 9 is our black. Okay, so that's our little bottom part finished. So we've got a bit of greenery to do, our rabbit and our castle. I'm going to do the rabbit now so I don't forget. Now I think rabbit should be grey, so I'm going to grab my 805, which is the warm grey 5. I'm going to give it a bit of a sharpen. Now he's so small that I'm just going to colour in one colour. So there he is, really straightforward. Now greens for our plants. I'm grabbing the 56, which is the light olive. So I thought I knew what it was, and then I questioned myself, so I looked it up. The light olive, and these here, I think these look like they should be in light olive. Why? Who knows? There we go. Then I'm going to grab the olive green, which is our 57, and we'll do, see, all these look very similar. I think I'm going to do them all the same. I know down at the bottom we varied what we were using, but the leaves all look different. But these all look the same, so I'm going to colour them all the same. Oh, we've got mushrooms to do, haven't we? Mushrooms growing on a mushroom. And the flowers. Still quite a bit. I'm sort of ignoring the castle, if you notice. Oh, these. Is the bit I'm frightened of. Not that frightened though. I've almost decided what colour I'm doing it now. So that's good. The flower colour, red. I'm going to use the number 29, which is the carmine red. Now this is going to match our castle. So there's a clue. I've got to sharpen it though, they're teeny tiny. I'm going to have to hold the page down. It keeps popping. Oh, there's a loud train. Keeps popping up. The other day I didn't hear any trains, and the children were in, so I didn't need to know what was going on, but I had to look, and there was a landslip over the railway line in, I think it was near London. It was disrupting all the trains because nothing could get in and out. I'm going to use a yellowy colour for the centre. I think we'll go for the sand. It's 11. Hopefully it will show up. I like the sand because it tends to have a more intense colour. And for the petals, I've got all my greens here. I think I'm going to grab number 5. It's quite a nice mid-green, isn't it? Oh, but we've used it here and here. Should we use it for those? Yeah, I'm going to use it for these so they all match, because I accidentally used the same colour, didn't I? And so I think it would make sense to keep using it. So I'm trying to fade this a little bit towards the tip, but not very successfully because I'm going quite fast. It's because I'm thinking about everything I've got to do, but I shouldn't be rushing, I should be enjoying. So I am going to grab I want this one, what number is it, 50, my willow green. I think that'll work for these little leaves. It's still bright enough to show up over the white background. Now our little toadstools, I'm going to use, whoops, the 85, which is our warm grey, I thought so, for the stems. And then the mushrooms themselves, I'm going to use, yeah, this colour, 73. It's the burnt sienna. Nice warm, almost toffee-like colour. Now the fish. I'm going to do them orange. I'm going to use this colour, the number 4, which is the orange, sorry, for the fins and tail. I need to do a little bit of a darker colour because they've got blue on. But now I'm just going out of the lines and putting orange in the water, so not really. Now if I could draw, I would draw a little bucket here to catch the fish in the water, because they're just, where are they going? But I can't, so I have to imagine there's one there. And I'm going to use 42 for the actual fish. What I like to try and do is to make them a little darker on the outside and a little lighter in the middle. There we go. And now it is castle time. Scary stuff. Right, we're going to start with the drawbridge. Wooden. I'm not worried about that one. Whoops, my pencils were in the wrong order there. So this is the 7, which is our light brown. Now I'm thinking I might keep this in a light brown and make the actual door a little bit darker. And then they'll look different. So there's the light brown. And now I'm going to use the 76, which is the Van Dyke. And I'm going to draw a few lines on here, just to make it look a bit more like wood. And Johanna's drawn a few lines on there for us already. And then use it for the door. Because it's just a few lines on top, it doesn't look like it's the same colour. There we go. Now I'm going to do the windows next, and I'm going to use, what colour is that? 117, the light ochre. There we go. I'm going to have to sharpen it. So you can see it's a slightly dulled yellow, which I think is quite nice for looking in a window in the daytime, when there might be lights on because it's a dark castle, but they wouldn't be shining out so brightly because it's daytime. There we go. I've just blocked those in, nothing special. And we're going to do the roof. And the roof is going to be 260. This is the mauve or Tuscan red. So it's a red. And all the roofs are going to be this colour. I'm going to put down a medium pressure layer to start with, trying to cover the whole thing as best I can. And then we'll do a little bit more in a minute. I was thinking of doing a grey roof because, you know, a lot of roofs are grey in the UK, but I thought this was a little bit more interesting, and it is a castle after all. So, and I like the nice warmth of using this colour though as well, with our sort of lots of greens and things. And the flowers and the fish and things sort of match in almost. Now after I've done this, I'm going to do the flagpoles because they're sort of getting in my way, and I want to be able to colour over the top of them. And so what I'm going to do is make them black. Now I usually make them sort of silver, but they're very skinny, so I think it'll be easier to make them black. I'm going to sharpen my black. It's number 9. Oh, I just looked up into the camera to make sure you could see, and a bird caught my eye. There's a jackdaw walking on the roof of the house opposite. They like on the roofs because there's quite a lot of moss on our roofs. They, I think the moss attracts insects, so they lift the moss and eat the insects. It does us a favour really, because I don't really want too much moss on our roof. Right, back to our 260, and now with each of these turrets I want it to be a little bit darker on the edge and lighter towards the middle, because it will make it look a little bit more rounded. Now there will be of course some shadow behind here to make it look a little bit three-dimensional. I will do that all at the end. I think it's easy. I've got my, hang on a minute, I'm just going to make a noise. Just moving my pencils, they're under my arm. It was a little bit irritating. As someone commented, it was Dear Mary, she said on a recent-ish video, no, she'd watched it recently, it was quite an old one, I'd said something gets on my wick, and she asked if that's what I'd actually said. And I'm wondering whether, and that was getting on my wick, having those pencils under my arm. It means getting on your nerves, annoying you, you know, but I feel it's not so strong, it's not, you know, I'm not like enraged, I'm just a little bit irritated, but not majorly. So this is 72, which is the English red, and I'm going to use this for a few features. So this here, which I think I established the other day might be called a fascia board, if it was on a house, but having never lived in a castle, funnily enough, I don't know what it's called on a castle, and we'll do this bit here, the bit around the door frame, and then the bricks. I'm not going to do them quite so hard, but what I'm going to do is when I get my next colour, I'm just going to colour over them, and it'll be so much easier to do what I want to do with this bit if we can just colour straight over the bricks, but this colour will show through, so it'll just make it so much easier, as I said just now. So there we go, and now I'm going to use a slightly lighter colour. What is this? This is 722, and it is called Indian Red, and we're going to do the building with it. Now I'm going to press quite lightly, I don't want it to be really dark. I want the walls to be a bit lighter than the rest. And as I say here, we're just going to colour over the bricks. Oh, try not to colour over the window, I think I just did. Oh, I'm going to just use the 72 again. The I keep losing it on my chart, the English red, for the bars on the window that I have forgotten. And then back to our 722, our Indian red. I'm assuming Indian red pigment comes from India. Maybe the soil or something? I don't know. I mean, we have red soil here sometimes, like clay. I don't really know much about pigments. I probably should, but I don't. Maybe when I go to the Derwent Museum I'll learn, if I ever go. Well, I'd like to go. Me and husband are planning on going, but children don't want to go, so it's going to be one of those sort of trips without children when we can leave them. It's quite a long way to go. We haven't actually left them alone overnight yet, and we really should. I mean, they're 18, but one son has a few health issues which frighten me if I leave him. He's alright, it's me, and so we'll see. But now, time to do some shading on our castle. Actually, it looks a bit messy. I'm going to go back over it and just try and make it look a little bit more evenly coloured. So what I'm looking for is bits that look a bit light. Let's put a bit more on them. Bits where I can see lines. That's better. Now, The rounded turrets, we need to use this colour still to make them look rounded like we did on the roof, so I'm just sharpening. And we're going to make this edge darker. Just fade it off. Same here. And on this one, watch out for your windows. And this one. And here. But these two look square to me, so I'm not going to worry about those. But now I'm going to use, I want a sort of dark brown, I think. I think I'm going to use this 77 for shadows. So I'm going to use it all the way along here, where this roof overlaps, and all the way up here. Pencil's getting under my arm again. And, you know, using Johanna's lines as a guide as well. Being a bit random with the order I'm doing it in, but I'm just going under the roofs and wherever anything overlaps, really. My desk is groaning every time I move my arm. Okay, I'm just sitting back and having a little look at where I want to put a bit more to make it really look like this bit is in front and this bit is behind. I think this edge needs a bit more. Put a little bit on the bottom where Johanna's drawn, although that might be supposed to be grass. Never mind. Now flags. I am going to use this colour for the flags. This is the fawn. It's a bit of an unusual colour, 49, but I think it will just, they'll stand out rather than trying to use a red, you know, which I normally do flags red, but we've got so much red going on. I think this is a bit different. You can hear my boiler making a noise. Heating's obviously coming on. I'm really hot, I don't need heating on. Right, I'm just having a look and seeing if I've done it, or which I have. I'm going to go and get my pastels. Oh no, I was going to use some that I have here. That's right. I've got my template, cloud template here, which I'm just going to try and grab. Look, I've got a pile of pens on top and they want to go on the floor. Here's my cloud template. Oh, I need to zoom out a lot so you can see what I'm doing. You can see it's gone quite blue. I'm going to use some scrap paper under the page because I often make a mess with my pastels. Because, you know, you're doing that, you're going sort of off the page. And I'm going to make my clouds gold. This is my Pan Pastel Rich Gold. Okay, it's a bit different. Grab a little cloth. I have washed these, but I didn't wash them properly, so really stained, but it's fine. I'll use this yellowy side anyway. So I'm just going to grab a bit of the Pan Pastel. Now, Pan Pastels, they do recommend that you use their applicator, and I can quite understand why, but I don't have any. So I'm doing the best I can with what I've got. So I'm just pushing that up from the stencil like that. Now it looks very dark along here, and that's because there's a lot of dust, which I shall brush away eventually. You can see now I've brushed some of it away with the cloth as I'm adding the next bit. So we're surrounding it by gold clouds. It's a little bit different. I don't know how it will end up looking. Find out soon enough. But you might rather do blue or pink. Even yellow is quite a nice colour for clouds. I think I'll do another bunch here. I'll make it easier on myself and avoid that edge bit. So I'm sort of avoiding the picture at the minute. But I'll put a bit in here. I'm going to put a bit in there though, so it looks a bit odd. There we go. Oh, that way. I try and sort of change the direction. I don't know whether it works or not, whether it's better if it's all in the same direction, because clouds aren't always uniform. I've gone very much over the tree there, but I can erase it off in a minute. A bit here, going down there, going down there. It's, sorry, I'm not talking much, am I? Just getting on with it. Nearly there. A little bit at the bottom, I think. I might just put a bit on like that. Fill in some gaps a bit. Now I'm going to brush it off. Have a little look. Now a few areas of my picture I've got a lot of gold, look how it looks. Ooh. I've got a lot of gold on, so I'm going to gently use my eraser to just try and pick them off this tree. Working to some extent, just to because the tree doesn't really want to look too gold, but I suppose the gold could be going over the tree. Anyway, I haven't erased that bit. So there is our finished picture with its clouds. So there we are. So I hope that was okay for you. Rather gold clouds, quite bright. If you tip it to the light, you can see it is shiny. It sort of almost disappears. It's so shiny, which is rather nice. But there it is. A bit unusual. So yeah, so that's our page finished. So thank you for watching. Please do like, subscribe and comment. It's always very much appreciated. Just trying to get the lid back on my Pan Pastel. Yes, very much appreciated, and thank you to all of you that already do. Hoping that you have a really super day and happy colouring.